We made it through another year of not injury-less. Yeah. Injury-free 2019.
Oh boy.
We went to the,
You spoke too soon.
we went to the dramatic Showtime lights.
I know.
I don't know what this
That's
is.
what's different. I came out here and it's like, I thought 2 semis were barreling down on us.
No.
What?
Just woke up.
Yeah, but we actually like the house lights on during the days so we can see people and know whose question we're answering.
Those days are gone.
Could we ever do that maybe? Like bring the house lights up so we can look at everybody?
The house lights were up all morning, I feel like. Didn't you?
It was, yeah, those are just different.
Bye, guys. That's my...
Bye, guys.
Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, whoa, whoa. Michael. Jeez, I've never heard Billy laugh harder. The old coffee stealing bit.
See? You're mad. You're mad because you've been gone.
No, they're mad because, you know where I'm going to put my coffee? Right here, where it says drinks.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Ooh, retaliation.
I literally sensed him. So Billy has a sticker right here. And years ago, he put no drinks. He wrote it down there in real angry, a couple of exclamation points. No drinks, all caps. And so I would put my drink over the no. And say, it says drinks, and there's a drink next to it. He's like, not funny, Rich. So then I thought, he's right, he did say no drinks, and so he did it in all caps. I just ripped off the no, turned it upside down, and it said, on drinks. And now, he got mad and threw that away, and now it just says drinks. With an exclamation point.
Oh, so now it's like...
So I got him.
Wow.
Yeah, full circle.
It's a game of chess.
Mm-hmm.
Rich?
In case good panel, everybody.
Speech?
In case you're wondering what keeps us entertained when we're not entertaining you, it's this story right here.
Right there.
That.
Should we get in? Take questions?
Sure, we'll take some questions, guys. This is our last panel of the year, so...
Last panel.
Let the questions fly.
Let them go.
Yes, fam.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
First off, I just want to congratulate you, Rich, on your new album.
Congrats, Richie.
Yeah! Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And so, just with that being said, I just was wondering what the best part about working on this album was and what your favorite song to record was.
Favorite part about working on the album was the collaborative energy that went into making the record. It started as a, Jason Mann's sort of spearheading it and driving me to do it and encouraging me to do it. And then Jason Mann's and I deciding on what the album should be and working very hard on designing that. And then bringing in musicians, some who are new to me and new to Jason, and that I don't think even anybody in our group knows some of them. And then bringing in old friends like Rob Benedict and Billy Moran to come in and do stuff in the record. So it was a special experience. Because I got to work with, obviously I know Rob super well, and for him to write a song for the album, which he did, and it's a beautiful song, and it was a great honor to have his artistic excellence involved in the record. It was amazing to have Billy Moran bring his guitar wizardry to the record. It was fantastic. And I know those guys, and we have a comfort level, even though I don't deal with them in music, at least we're already buddies. What was interesting was sort of reaching out and tapping the musical talents of people, a lot of whom you know if you're big Station Breaks fans or Loud and Swain fans. You've encountered some of these other musicians in other concerts in Germany. Rob Humphreys, who's a drummer, Station Breaks drummer. Coop, a bass player. Emma Fitzpatrick, who has a fantastic voice and has her own musical pursuits and joins you guys in Germany and plays for the Rockwood shows. To have her come in and sing on the record. So I was really getting to work with people that I have known and admired from afar for years, alongside my good buddies and some new folks. So the whole collaborative spirit of doing it was really fun and exhilarating. It was like improv, because we'd go in with an idea of what we were going to do, come out with something completely different that was better, and that was pretty awesome. And you wanted my favorite. I don't have a favorite, because they were such a curated list of songs. Like it started big and got narrowed down. We'd even try recording something and that wouldn't work, and we'd accidentally have success with something else, and it just became a process of these are the songs that should be here. And so for each of those songs I have a strong affinity, so I don't have a favorite.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your album's amazing.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And just overall, to all of you who have been involved in giving me crap about doing an album and then now supporting the album by downloading it or listening to it on Spotify or buying it in the lobby, I really appreciate it. This has been a complete project of passion and fun for me, and I appreciate the support, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Over here.
My question is for Rob. It's actually to settle a debate between my wife and myself.
Okay.
Well, this is not going to go well.
Uh-oh.
I want to be right, but I kind of want her to be right.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay.
In Atomic Monsters, as Chuck was writing what was going on,
right,
was the son always the vampire, or when Becky pushed Chuck to make it darker, did it switch from the parent to the child to be the vampire?
I think. It's funny, someone asked me about that yesterday. I think what the Chuck storyline is sort of the greater storyline of what's happening. The end is the end of Supernatural. So the thing that Chuck is writing in that episode is the end of the show, not the end of that episode. So what he was writing didn't affect the vampires. It affected Sam and Dean and what's going to happen to them. That's the trajectory. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I know there was some that may not have been clear, but that's what it was. He's working out how should he write the end of the whole show, because that's what he's sort of planning, and so that's what that.
Now, before we go any further, this man's either sleeping on a bed or on a sofa tonight.
Right. I think you're safe because...
I'm safe.
You're safe because the answer is neither.
Another marriage saved by Rob Benedict, everybody. Love Dr. Rob Benedict.
That's right.
He's the polar opposite of Billy Moran.
So you can rest easy. But yeah, I think that's what... there was some confusion. I don't know if you saw that episode, but there was some confusion
about what the story was being written about. So
yeah. The whole thing that I'm doing is working on how to end the show, and she's like, that's what she's so horrified about. So you're good. You're safe. Thank you for your question.
All right, over here.
Hi. I just want to start off by saying, Matt, I thoroughly enjoy your Criminal Minds episode. You're the prettiest dead person I've ever seen.
Pretty dead person. One of the prettiest dead guys ever, Matt Cohen.
And you would have been my perfect Prince Charming. I don't know what she was tripping on.
Thank you.
And my question is for Rob. We know... Look, you got the shout out.
That's good. I got a text message anyways.
Okay, Rob,
yes.
We know that the Winchester story is technically your favorite story, but which brother is God's favorite?
Oh, man.
All right, now, really, pause, time out. Remember I said about you saving a marriage? You're about to ruin relationships. Fans' relationship with you. Half the fans
I'm about to ruin my own life.
are going to hate you. So you're either on the sofa or the sofa. You know what I mean?
The answer to that question is like any parent, you don't have a favorite child. You love them both equally. You love them both equally. I love it. They're like, whoa,
What I like
you almost didn't say anything.
my favorite is all the parents out there are going, bullshit! Taylor's a nightmare! If I'd had 3 Shaynas, it'd be a delight in my house, but no! Had to have that turd.
I love them both equally, and so does God.
They're going to storm the stage. Literally, you're giving the most politically correct answer of all time. This is bullshit. I didn't come here for this crap. I want to see sparks fly. Pick a favorite. Rob or Rich. Whoever you are.
Now Gabriel, on the other hand.
Big fan.
A big fan. No, God doesn't have favorites. God doesn't have favorites, especially when it comes to the Winchesters. He loves, he says, a funny way of showing it.
Rob loves Sam and Dean equally, much like all of the fans. So not true.
One person.
They all have favorites.
I don't know why I'm all of a sudden really nervous. It's like a poison dart. She said, if someone stands up in the audience, like, she just set you up for failure. That's fine. I know, but I gave like the most politically correct.
I know, for whatever reason, that's the rage the master.
You better watch it.
Man, I've had it with Rob with his politically sensitive answers. But for me personally, thank you for your question. I like watching Rob squirm, so thank you. Over here.
Huge honor to be able to speak with you guys. Question, throughout all of Supernatural, there's a lot of story arcs, characters that have very deep biblical connection. Just wonder if you could give us a little insight as to where you draw from your material. It goes more than just scratches the surface of a lot of biblical characters. So I was just going to see where exactly you draw a lot of that from, or where that comes from.
Biblical inspiration. I mean, I think, I just want to clarify, is that what you're asking, right? Like sort of the roots?
Right, yeah. So, I mean, most people's basic understanding of biblical characters and stories, Supernatural goes a little deeper than that, like Leviathan and stuff like that. So I'm just going to see how you develop those story arcs, or how those story arcs are developed, and how much research and development goes in from the Bible.
Gotcha. I actually have a direct answer to that, specifically from Changing Channels, that episode. Because years ago, when I got that script, and you're just hired to do an episode, a year goes by, you're hired to do another one. It wasn't like I was heavily involved in the show. And when that script came in, it had this whole revelation that I was Gabriel, right? And I was like, oh my gosh. Read the script. It's like very different than the 2 previous episodes I had done. Much more involved in the mythology of the season, of the series. And I was like, oh gosh, there's a lot of weight here. So I didn't know the writers well. That was written by Jeremy Carver. By the way, whose new show Doom Patrol is awesome. But side note, I asked production. I said, can I have a conversation with Jeremy Carver? I'd like to get a little backstory here on the story. And so I did. I read all the Gabriel parts of the Bible. And so, because this kind of seemed to be the logical place to go. And I got on the phone with Jeremy and I said, all right, so I want to talk to you about the story, where it's going, where it's been, because I don't know. I went ahead and did my research and read the Gabriel parts of the Bible. And he paused and he's like, yeah, we don't so much go by the Bible. And I was like, oh, okay. And I say that because that's kind of a direct answer to your question, in that I think that question that you're asking, if I may say, is more almost a writer's question than ours. I mean, how we develop our characters based on what they hand us is one thing, but in terms of their storyline and where they find these inspirations and characters and how much they lean on texts, whether it be the Bible or other books or stories or legends that they've heard or read or researched, I think is pretty substantial, but it varies. It's not like they're leaning on one thing. They're not just going to the well of the Bible or going to the well of specifically religious material. I think they look all over for ideas and come up with fictional ideas and then find a way to sort of create a history that makes sense to something we know to be popularized. So, I think it's a very complex effort they put into it as writers.
Yeah, I think, our job as actors really is to play this role as it is written, to help tell the story, and obviously, like for me, playing somebody like God, which all of my research, my instincts about God come from my upbringing. I went to Catholic school for 8 years, so, okay, great. It's the same person who loves changing channels, also Catholic, okay, and
she loves the Bible, changing channels, Catholic school, and both Sam and Dean equally.
Exactly.
That's the one person.
So obviously that's what sort of influenced my notion of the concept that is God, and but at the end of the day, my job is to come in and tell the story as the writers have written, and we're kind of the last to know anything, but yeah. So obviously, my experience with knowing about God as it was written in the Bible certainly influences my performance, but at the end of the day, this is a fictional character I'm playing on Supernatural just to tell that story, as opposed to trying to represent the Bible or the biblical version of God. But certainly the smiting part of it and all that. And, I mean, I say to people, this season I'm definitely going Old Testament. It's an Old Testament God. Yeah, it's a really interesting question. Matt?
I mean, you guys answered. I think it's the writers, they, like in Forrest Gump, when they create this character that intertwines with all these real life events, right? Like the smiley face and the war and all these different things. I think that's what the writers try to do, right? They create these moments, create these characters, and try to somewhat intertwine it with what would reflect maybe the real biblical story of the thing. Again, a writer's question, I guess. I mean, I can't speak as to... I didn't research the Bible to play Michael. I literally panicked, and then that is what you got. That's what happened. I was reading, it said John, 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 then Michael. I was confused. I stepped on set.
It often says in the Bible, the panicky...
Penny sweaty ripped
the panicky Michael, so...
but thank you for your question. It's a very eloquent question, and hopefully we provided no answer whatsoever. I feel like
all I can sort of equate it to is something like Midnight in Paris, that Woody Allen movie, where you have all these people playing actual writers.
Right.
But really, at the end of the day, they're influenced by what we hear about these writers, but at the end of the day, they're just helping tell whatever Woody Allen's story was, right? So, anyway,
thank you.
Thanks for that question.
Hi, guys.
That was a slow, confused clap. Like, everybody's like, yeah, okay, let's just move on.
Why are they acting like that?
Hello, guys.
Hey.
First, I want to tell Matt that I really loved him as Klaus.
And your questions for?
It's for all of you. So the question's for all of you. Since you've all been in Hillywood parodies, I was wondering if you could tell us something about how it's like doing those.
Well, Matt, you just finished a long one there, so
yeah, it was a fun time. It's always nice to play, a partially nude drug addict. Any time I see that in the breakdown, I'm like, woo, I'll do it. And the eyeliner was a good throwback to my youthful emo days. I wore eyeliner for several years when I first moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. It wasn't my proudest moment, but looking back.
Pretty calm down over here.
I got it. It was Rich actually turned me on to the eyeliner thing. It really makes your eyes pop.
Tracks.
It was fun working on that show. I think The Umbrella Academy is a really fun show to watch. I think it's right up our alley.
Great show.
As Supernatural, fans, and the kid that plays Klaus. I can't.
Irish actor.
He's friends with Adam Fergus. Yeah, that guy. Rob Sheehan. He's a tremendous talent, and to take a shot at going after a character that he created, was a challenge. It was really fun, though. My manager thinks it's the best work I've ever done in my career, so it's probably because I'm naked the whole time. If you haven't seen it, the Hillywood /YouTube or youtube.com/Hillywood, you can't miss it. The girls do great things. You should check it out. They're tremendous. These guys know. They've done their pieces.
Yeah, we've had this also common. We've each been in 3 different Hillywood shows.
Yeah. So I did the Stranger Things one, and the fun thing about that, it was great working with them. I loved watching how they work. I already thought what they were doing was cool, because I'd seen the Supernatural stuff. We'd all done cameos in that. So it was really fun to watch up close and personal how their attention to detail and how good they are at telling the stories the way they tell them. Slightly off track, but my oldest son is now old enough to have seen some Stranger Things. So he decided for Halloween this year he wanted to be Dustin, which I thought was fun. And so I reached out to the Hillywood girls, and they mailed me my costume from the video, so so Steve could go. Just a wig and a hat, and yeah. So he was his dad playing Dustin's Dustin. It's a very meta Dustin for Halloween. So that was really cool of them to do. Bobo, you played Tim Amundsen in...
yeah, I was in my parody was of a TV show you might have heard of called Supernatural. It was the first Supernatural parody, and yeah, I got to play Tim Amundsen's character, which was a thrill. And what was fun about it was that when I put on the wig and everything, I really looked like Amundsen, and I looked like Amundsen's mini-me. And it made sense because Hilly was Jensen mini-me, because she was playing Dean, and so it worked for both little versions of them. Yeah. But yeah, it was fun. They're super fun and very creative, and it's amazing what they put together. The sets and the costumes are spot on, and they really are. Hilly really can like become any other character. Like,
oh, she's great.
In yours, she really looks like the kid who plays number whatever that is.
Yeah, and props to those girls for, they do all their own makeup and choreography, and they build the sets with their close friends. They really, it's a hell of a job they set out to do with those things. They always deliver. They always get it done. Their shots, they're to mimic whatever it is they're trying to match in a sense. But Hilly does her own, makeup. Transforms herself. I'm going to be Dean now. It's like completely does it. It's incredible.
And she's just so cute, so pretty. She's got long flowing red hair, but then she's like never, she's like, I don't know where the hair goes. But all of a sudden she's just Dean.
I never saw her because we were doing Stranger Things. They got up so early, they had so much to do, that by the time we arrived, even if we were first up, they were already 11 and Mike, or they were already those kids. So I never saw them out of their character outfits, and I think one time we had to fly somewhere and I saw them, and it was jarring to see them as their actual selves after a week of seeing them as their characters, because they look so much like the characters.
No, it was hard for me because I spent all week flirting with Dean, so I had to really
And then Hilly showed up. And you're like, well, this guy weird.
Oh, wow. I thought this, wait a minute. Oh, Jensen, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he liked it.
Now you know his favorite. Ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your question. You.
Hi. Rich, I am very proud of you for your album.
Thank you.
I do have a little bone to pick.
Uh-oh. Mm-hmm.
I am wondering why your release party was not in Nashville.
Wow, Rich.
That's your hometown. It's the Dick Jr. and the Volunteers.
That's true. Volunteers.
You have hat show print.
Great point.
I lived there. I was ready, man.
Nothing
I'm with you, man.
Smash chair on space. Wait. Nothing would have pleased me more than to do a show in Nashville, Tennessee to launch the record. The drawbacks to that were none of the musicians would have been with me. Because it's Thanksgiving week, and so we're throwing a party. So backstory: we're throwing a little launch party Tuesday. This coming Tuesday in Los Angeles at the Roxy. Station Breaks are playing.
That's what I read online.
Yeah, Michael Rosenbaum's band.
I actually did see that online as well.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know this, but you're also playing with.
I read that online.
So it's 3 bands playing at the Roxy. It's super fun, and there have been some comments like, why the week of Thanksgiving? And the truth of the matter is, why Los Angeles? It's the one time when everybody could do it. It was like we were trying to get everybody's schedule lined up. He's up in Vancouver shooting all the time. I'm currently directing an episode. I was on a different job before. He's back and forth. Everybody's got things going on. It became the one thing, the one week we could pull this off and not just completely skip it. So we're doing a launch party in Los Angeles next week. Now, that's not to say that we're not working diligently to do another one next year in Nashville, Tennessee. So that is not, it won't be the launch party, but it'll still be a party. So we're working on that, and hopefully you can get something together for Nashville in early 2020.
That's cool.
Just don't forget your hometown fans, okay?
Say it again?
I said just don't forget your hometown fans, okay?
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to have any hometown fans at the hometown show. I decided only people who hate me are allowed at that one. I'm so sorry. So I had to narrow it down somewhere.
It just sold out.
Yeah, no, a line around the block. It was funny. People who hate Rich, shit, I hate that son of a bitch. I'll go. Dad. But thank you for the support, and thank you for understanding. I want to say one thing about the Dick Jr. and the Volunteers. So that's the name of the band, and it's a double meaning, the Volunteers. It's one, because of Tennessee being the volunteer state, and I don't know if you know this, Rob, but I am from Tennessee.
That's what I heard.
I am from Nashville. It's also, volunteers, is because I really wanted to pull, you know, the reason why I even got to make a record is because Rob Benedict and the boys from Loud and Swain have been kind enough to let me play music with them for the last few years, which has sort of reignited my love of playing, and it's been this great influence on me to watch these guys play and have fun, and so, you know, thank you for rekindle that energy for me. And Jason Manns came along and has gotten involved and been a great influence. And we've done this all as creation events. We've been doing this, playing this music, and I've been redeveloping my love of music at the creation events. And though we're on stage all the time doing all these fun things, the system only works because of the people who help us run it. And back in the day, they were volunteers. All the people who worked for us, who walked us around, were volunteering for those positions. So part of the title of the band is encompassing not just the musicians who helped me make it, but the people who helped make this, which is the forum we've used to launch many a musical experience. So it's a nod to the band, us, and the volunteers who make up Creation Entertainment. So it really is a group title. So I want to clarify that. So it's not just for Tennesseans, although I am a Tennessean, it's for the group here that makes the show fun. I hope to see you at the Nashville show.
I'll be there as soon as you announce it.
I love it. Thanks. Well, might want to wait
until the actual show.
Wait till the actual show. Yeah. Okay. That'll be weird. I'm at the venue now. Go ahead.
So my question's for Rob. We all love you very much.
This is a bad setup, dude. It sounds like your mother and I love you very much, but
downhill from here.
Yeah.
So the way Chuck's playing out, we love you. I'm not really a fan of Chuck right now. But do you think there is a way that Chuck will redeem himself this season?
I mean, I hope so, just for our relations. Yeah, I don't know, because I'm always the last to know anything. Yeah, I mean, it's I can't really say anything, and I don't know, but I hope so. I really hope so. That would be nice, right? It'd be nice to remember in a positive light, not as the man who single-handedly brought down Supernatural. Boy, the things I read online, people are not happy with me. But I have to say, just for what it's worth, it's super fun. It's been fun to play. You know, I have no say in any of it. You get a script, and you're like, all right, this is the direction we're going now. But it's been fun to sink my teeth into it. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be an epic season. It's already been epic, everything that I've seen. So, yeah, just remember, I'm your buddy Rob.
Quick follow-up. How did you manage to convince the production to make season 15 the last season?
It's funny. It's funny, I was going to make a joke when you were answering your last question about the volunteers. I had a joke, and I was like, take it easy, let him have this. Don't be the guy who's like needling them from behind. And now I wish I had done it, because you're a jerk.
From the front.
You're a jerk face. Now, as everybody knows, Jensen and Jared made that decision. The CW would have, you know, yeah, Jensen and Jared were like, I think it's, you know, and then they decided, oh, let's get this schmuck in here to ruin it. No, yeah, I mean, at the end of last season when I got that script, I was like, oh, Jesus, people are gonna hate me. This is not gonna go well, but it's fun. It's as Rich said, it's fun to be relevant again and to be back on the show, because personally speaking, it's just fun to go work with my friends. You know, it's just so fun to be up there. Every time I go up, it's not enough. Like, I want to stay for longer, you know. It's really fun. It's like when your part's over, you got to go back home. Like, oh, I want to stay. But so it's been fun. So I hope it's all good, and it'd be great if it ended on a high note. But even if no, we've always got season 5. Thanks.
Like Rob comes out of like the like Looney Tunes old-fashioned circle at the end. He's like, hey everybody, we always have season 5, okay? The curtain closes.
I just like the idea that you're going down as the man who's single-handedly brought down Supernatural.
Yeah.
Self-titled nonetheless, really. You gave me yourself that one.
Thanks, I sure did.
You.
Hi, my question is for Rob.
Okay.
Since Chuck said that he was okay with lying at the end of season 14, what would his 10 commandments be?
That's a light one.
Which is a jerk.
It's not a commandment.
Gosh, I mean, it's basically it'd be the same 10 commandments minus that one. It's okay to lie. Yeah. Writers lie. Writers lie. But I'm thinking of the what was the Mel Brooks movie where it's like, I've got these 15.
Oh, History of the World.
Drops is like 10 commandments. So now we've got 9 commandments. Yeah, or maybe I'll just substitute the one, and instead of lying, now it's just like everybody party, and everybody parties. The 10th. What should the 10th commandment be?
Thou shalt not manscape.
There you go. That's better than everybody party.
No, it's not.
Thou shalt not manscape.
Well, thou shalt.
Any help, Matt?
You can make it a little bit of both, and thou shalt not manscape and always party. Maybe it's a double.
Thou shalt not party.
Thou shalt not party.
Double negative.
And not manscape.
Thank you.
It's a manscape party. On something.
Hi guys. So I'm graduating in about 3 weeks with my bachelor's degree in literature. And thank you. So my question was, if you could have lunch with any author or poet, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Alive.
Michael Chabon. Or Chabon, or how do you say it? Sorry.
I raised my hand, Rob.
Sorry, dude.
Hunter S. Thompson.
There you go.
Michael Chabon.
He wrote Mysteries of Pittsburgh. He wrote The Wonder Boys.
Oh, okay.
The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. Just a really, really smart writer, and he seems like, from the picture on the back of the book, the kind of dude I want to hang out with. He's got kind of long hair. He's like super intellectual, and his characters and his writing is just so smart.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. If you've never read it before, read his very first book, Mysteries of Pittsburgh. Is great, and also Wonder Boys, which they made into a movie with.
Yeah, I remember Wonder Boys. I haven't read him, but I'll check it out. Mine's very arbitrary. He's a Southern poet named Alan Tate, who was a member of this sort of like renegade poet group in the 30s and 40s called the Fugitives. Like Robert Penn Warren was in that group, and John Crow Ransom and Alan Tate. And specifically, I've never been asked that question, but the reason I would do that is he died when I was 9, but his son, my best friend growing up, from age 6 to he was in my wedding, we were still hanging out all the time. So I would like to know the father of my buddy. I think it'd be neat.
So you never knew him?
Met him briefly once, but he was bedridden and sick when I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
And died shortly thereafter. So I think it would just be interesting, because he had a fascinating life. Like I know I'm old, but my buddy, who's my age, his dad, Alan Tate, was born in December of 1899. Like that's an age gap between your father and son, significant. He died at the age of 79 when we were 9 years old. And he
had the kid when he was 70?
Yeah. And it was his second marriage. He'd been married once before in 1924. So Ben had 55 and 6-year-old half siblings. And he'd been a roommate with Hemingway. Like he was a literary figure back when literary figures were rock stars. You know what I mean? Back when it was like cool to be a writer and a journalist, and you'd go hang out with Hearst and that kind of stuff. So he had a really fascinating life, and I just think it'd be interesting to.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. I thought you were going to say like you actually did have dinner with him. Now did you meet him? Yeah, we had dinner together.
That doesn't count. I know. No.
I think Kurt Vonnegut would be my second answer. Kurt Vonnegut would be.
Yeah. There's a lot. That's a good question. That's a good question.
You and Hunter S. Thompson, that's a great answer for you also.
And what would your answer be, being a student of literature?
It's probably a 3-way tie between Tennessee Williams, Ernest Hemingway, and Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, that's a hell of a
good trio. Solid.
Yeah.
That'd be a great meet and greet. All of them.
I'll tell you what, right there, that's a manscape party. I mean, you get those there.
There you go.
That's
10 commandment worthy, for sure.
Some absinthe and a razor. You're having a party. Thank you.
It's the name of my new album.
My question
my favorite stranger, but it's from my friend Michaela in Australia to Matt. She woke
great.
Yeah, she woke up at 4 a.m. She's here, just watching. She woke up at 4 a.m. to say, or she wants to just ask Matt, what is your favorite type of toast, and if you eat spaghetti on your toast?
There you go. It's a question for the ages. What's your favorite kind of toast, and do you eat spaghetti on your toast?
Clearly, the fans of Supernatural have decided to only ask us questions based on our intellect. And so, I'll answer this question. I'm not a big fan of toast. The gluten kind of makes me inflamed in the joints. I wake up and I'm a little creaky, so I just eat the spaghetti, the gluten-free quinoa, if that's how you say it.
Yes.
The gluten-free quinoa spaghetti, no toast in my face. I hope that was worth staying up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry. Thank you for your
Shout out to Michaela.
Thank you.
Shout out to Michaela, Australia. We'll see you soon.
All right, you over here.
Hi guys. Okay, so I have a question for Rob. So why do you think that God killed Jack instead of using him for his evil plot against the Winchesters and Castile?
It's so awful. It's a nightmare. So, when you killed our son, so first of all, I have no evil plot to do anything. It's more that, you see, I've written this story, and I love the characters in this story, and of all the, this is my favorite show. This is my favorite Sam and Dean, my favorite show. But now I'm kind of growing tired of it. To me, I can use them like pawns, and to them, they're going, we're real people. But to me, you know, it's like look, I equate it to the way we actors are used on the show. Like, a lot of times they'll call us and be like, hey, we need you for episode whatever. Then they'll call a week later and be like, hey, we actually rewrote the script and you're not in it anymore, so we're moving to do this. And we're like, oh man, I really wanted those. They must not like me. You know, it's not personal. They just didn't need you for the plot, to move the plot forward, so not going to use it. And that's kind of the way Chuck's thinking of it. Yeah, I don't know if this is working for me anymore. I'm getting a lot of, you know, and they nearly destroyed the universe by letting Lucifer's son, who we love, he's adorable, and I love him. This is a very powerful and scary, and sure, there was a power thing. Was I scared? Yeah, you know what, I was. But I needed to sort of get rid of that, so to move it, and then I'm like, now I'm just mad, I'm kind of in a bad mood about it, and like, maybe we just don't even do that anymore. And I understand, for you, that's personal. For me, Rob Benedict is personal. But for God, this is not personal in that way. I love him, it's great, I love him, but maybe not, maybe do something else. You know what I mean? He's just thinking of it like a writer. I need to rewrite that, or erase that, and so I've got no evil plot against anybody. And I have spoken.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hashtag, we'll always have season 5.
We'll always have season 5, guys.
All right, over there.
And 11. And any other season besides this. Hi. Okay.
So we know you both play two characters, you know, Michael and young John and everything, and between the trickster and Gabriel. Which out of those variations do you like the most, like playing?
I believe her question is that we all play split characters.
Yes.
Right? Which version of your split character or characters do you prefer playing?
Right.
I'll start by saying Michael, because he doesn't have any rules and can basically do whatever he wants, including get real close to Dean, look at his lips, and then touch his face. And not every guest star in Supernatural can say that shit, can they? I walked right up to him, his big pouty lips, and I went, psh, take that. They wrote it, I did it, what now? That's a wrap. I'll be in my trailer thinking about this moment. You guys?
I mean,
Gabriel.
Gabriel.
Gabriel. I mean, only because Gabriel's a character I know the longest and have spent the most time with. So I would go with Gabriel. Robbie?
I liked old school Chuck. I mean, I have a fondness for old school Chuck. You know, season 5 Chuck. Mostly because he didn't have to answer the tough questions. He's got to drink himself into oblivion and write a cute little novel. Not ruin people's lives.
Thank you for your question. You.
Hi. So normally I would have a Kings of Con question, but sadly I don't. Other than to say that Matt probably has one of my favorite lines in it.
Which is?
Well, I can't redo it. I mean, I could.
But just say it, and I'll redo it.
I just booked a pilot. Suck it, band.
It's a good line. You did it perfect.
That's great.
Anyway, so I've heard rumors of a new Station Breaks album, and if true, would Rich collaborate with that one?
That's a good question. If we can get him, I mean, he's on the charts now. We don't. But yes, we are writing a new Station Breaks album. And yeah, it'd be great to have Richard guest star on that.
What I want the Station Breaks to do is go make their album, and then be sure they have a lot of piano in it, so that when they play live, Mike gets to play piano, so I can play bass. So I get to be the stunt bass player for, as long as you have plenty of piano for Mike to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it'd be great to have Rich, because you know the kind of songs that he sings on his album fit right in, I think, to the Station Breaks. You know, type of music. So yeah, that'd be great. Be great. Yeah, we're still in the writing phase, but once we start recording, we'll find something for Rich to do. You heard it right here.
I love that's the same. That lady right there. She loves everything about us and also Sam and Dean equally. That
yeah, exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you have an ETA on the?
No.
Still in development process?
Yeah, we're working on Jason Mann's time. You know what that's like.
It's Mosey o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah, over there.
Hi, my question's a little bit more generic. And it's, if you had to eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Matt?
What were our last?
No, that's my answer, Matt. I would eat Matt for the rest of my life. Big bites of Matty. Piping hot Cohen.
It's funny enough, there's a picture early on where you and most of the cast of Supernatural is actually eating sushi off my naked body in Australia.
I know.
Good times.
It was fun. I didn't smell good afterwards, but it was the sushi's fault, not my body odor. I don't know. I feel like I can't remember what the last thing I said. I feel like it's always peanut butter or marshmallow fluff somewhere in that world.
Not donuts.
You guys remember what donuts is a big one, but you won't survive.
I don't remember what you said before.
I have these organic gummy worms at my house right now from Halloween.
There you go.
And because they're organic in my mind, they're healthy. They're made with real fruit flavors. That's why me and my son sit on the couch like two third-year freshmen in college, just shoveling them into our face. Right now, that would be the thing I would survive on. They're really good.
Robert?
Popcorn. Popcorn, yeah. Popcorn.
Popcorn's
if not popcorn, then pretzels. And if not pretzels, then peanut butter. If not peanut butter, then chocolate. And that's why my favorite food, my favorite candy bar is Take 5. Because it's fucking pretzels, peanut butter, chocolate.
Popcorn?
It might as well be popcorn.
It's got
popcorn.
everything.
It's popcorn.
It's right.
So good.
All right, let's take one last question before the band sets over here. Last question.
All right, so first of all, for Matt, did you ever have a prank pulled on you on set? And for Rob and Rich, what is your favorite prank that you've pulled?
Oh, no pranks. No prank bet.
Well,
Matt?
you know what? I've never had a prank pulled on me. And you know why? Because don't fuck with me. That's why. Because I'm there to work and create and do things. Jared and Jensen, boy, they know better to mess with young dada, okay? I still got spunk in these young John boots when I throw them on.
Whoa now.
I guess the best prank I ever pulled was checking Rob Benedict into a hotel under the name Hey, Would You Blow Me? Right?
I've never played pranks. I don't play pranks. I'm a good person. I like people. But the worst one I've ever been a part of is when Richard told me to check into the hotel, and that was then he said the name was so that people didn't recognize us. They gave me a name to check in under that wasn't Rob Benedict. It was Jablomi, Haywood. And so I went up to the guy and I said, hey, my room is under Haywood Digiblome. That's Haywood Digiblome. So it backfired on everybody. And then I showed it to the guy, and the guy was like, you're an asshole.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Rob Benedict, that's Matt Cohen, I'm Rich Smith. That's the band, Santa Claus. Good as there. Right there. You know what it is? It's a magic number. Yeah, it is. It's a magic number. That's right. It's a magic number. Yeah, it is. It's a magic number. It's a magic number. It's a magic number. Yeah! This is right here. This magic number. You know what's next? I do. Something's next. Here it is. Autographs and something